Hi guys, welcome back. We are finally getting towards the end of this 9/11 documentary. It has took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to do. I thought I was going to do it in two parts, roughly 20 minutes each, but as I got into it, there was very little that I wanted to cut out really. It's all so important. The stories, what they're going through, it became very difficult to edit the video without missing key things. So it's actually, in the end, it's ended up being almost as long put together as the actual documentary itself, but that's fine. We left off with both towers still standing, so let's get started.
They just hit the Pentagon.
We better be clear on these doors.
I really think we should go. Now.
Just hit the Pentagon.
What? Come on.
Al-Qaeda. They're a bunch of terrorists.
Go, Victor, go.
Oh, not more stairs.
I wonder how well known Al-Qaeda was before this. I mean, obviously that guy knew. I had no idea, but I was like 9 years old, so it doesn't really count.
This is the man.
Alright, we've made it out of the lift. That's good.
In my prayers, and that fireman, may God bless him wherever he is, because if it hadn't been for him leading us to the safety, I wouldn't be sitting here talking now.
Oh, still 50 floors up though after all this time. And that building is a ticking time bomb at this point.
Oh, come, please, trust me. Come.
Come on lads, get out of there. Let's go.
Hey, let's hope this one works.
No more elevators.
Oof.
Are you gonna walk?
Well, I prefer.
And I come into elevator, I see the big sign.
I'm with him.
Do not use the elevator when it's fire.
Another lift after all that.
I don't know what to do. I said, something's wrong.
It'll take 30 minutes to walk down. We may not have 30 minutes.
They ain't got 30 minutes.
Not responsible for yourself, because if you were stuck at another elevator, who's going to help you?
You got no choice, my friend.
It takes over an hour in normal conditions to climb the stairs inside one of the towers.
God, look at all those stairs.
Firefighters each have to contend with almost 50 kilos of equipment, as well as the endless flow of evacuees coming down.
50
By
kilos of
9:58,
equipment.
Over 170 members of the New
Holy
York Fire Department
hell.
inside the North Tower.
That's what, 110 pounds? That's like having a small person on your back trying to go up 100 floors.
In Building 2, the South Tower, nearly 8,000 people have succeeded in evacuating. It turns out they escaped just in time.
One for you.
No problem.
Here's a flashlight, man. See, 8,000 sounds a lot, but what's the capacity of the building? Because if it's 10, then obviously that's good, but if it's 40,000, then it's not good at all.
The staircases on the lower floors have become a slow-moving chain of evacuees. Among them, Rick Bryan and the rescue workers from the 89th floor. Then, something mystifying happened.
Oh boy. So they're in the north, and I think this is the south collapsing.
A huge cloud of this dark gray smoke comes shooting up the stairway, and just covering everyone and everything. And it was hot, very, very hot.
It's weird to think about, actually, the dust being hot.
It swayed back and forth, and then the lights went out.
But I suppose there's so much raw energy in it that it would be hot.
I see. Is that what I thought it was? Thinking that part of our building collapsed. And he just looked at me. In a very serious face, he said, "The South Tower has just collapsed."
God. I wonder how loud that was. You can't really get a good gauge of it on a video, but I bet that was deafening. It's just something you'd see in a movie, you know, like CGI. It must be so surreal that it's the real deal. It's happening right there in front of them. An enormous building full of human beings.
Knowing that a high-rise building has never collapsed before. And now the sister building that we were in had suffered the same fate, but it got hit later than ours, had just collapsed. So I'm thinking to myself as he said that, he says, we're gonna be lucky to get out of here.
Time to go. Time to get out.
I want us out of here now. Pick up your stuff. We're heading out right now. Sal, the rope.
The sheer terror that we're in this building and we're dead men walking.
Thing is, they've just spent all of that time getting up that high.
Department's a semi-military organization. You don't do things without orders.
Immediately just to start running back down again.
Evacuating. It was my instinct that I perceived the danger and I acted on it.
What was that? Sounded like an explosion.
Victor, you gotta be positive.
We've got to go.
In case you hadn't noticed, we're still only on the 36th floor.
Well, that's only 36 more floors to go.
Come on, 36 is nothing, man. Get out.
What do you mean?
Working here. My job, my life. Just pathetic.
What, you want me to go ahead and see if I can find a faster route?
No, don't leave us.
I won't, but we have to go. Now, come on.
This guy's starting to annoy me. I'm not gonna lie.
Get yourself up and let's go.
You can only help someone to a certain point, and then you've got to think about yourself.
Come on, fellas, keep it moving.
Is it that exhausting to run downstairs? I don't know.
And Tommy Falco turns around and looks at me and he says, "Hey, Cap, what do you want to do with her?" And I took a deep breath. It's like,
Let's give you a hand here. Come on, guys. We got ourselves a VIP to get down.
You gotta help her. It's about the only person who's managed to help so far.
and people ask me, says, "Why did you do that? You know, you could have passed her by, nobody would have known." I says, "I would have known." And the sight of her standing in the doorway would have haunted me forever.
You can do it. Come on.
There's no way they're still on the phone, surely. There they are, the boys.
Time to go, ladies.
We're glad to see you.
Was he in the last part? Yeah, I recognize him. Wasn't he the guy that was saying don't break the window? But I thought that was above the impact. I don't think these guys get out.
Okay, nearly there. Come on, take my hand. Yeah, go. Go. You think we should go?
Come on, yes, yes.
No. Neither do I.
Oh my days.
I mean, I think he felt he could do it. I mean, why not?
I may be hurt, I may be tired, I may be burnt, but I'll get out.
I went out from the side of the building and I kept walking on West Side Highway. And then I heard some people screaming. I looked back.
Oh, here we go.
That's when I saw at the very close distance, I saw a building collapse.
Ugh. Imagine there are thousands of people still in that thing as it's coming down.
Probably we lost Harry at that moment.
At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower collapses. It takes just 12 seconds.
I'm surprised we have so much footage, to be honest with you. I mean, people must have just been walking around with camcorders in 2001. And again, I suppose New York City is one of the biggest tourist destinations in the world, so one of the most merciful things that I do know about these towers, and this morning, is the time that all this happened.
And then ran like hell. Thank God. I'm 69, but I can still run.
Yeah, because it happened so early in the morning. It was what, quarter to 9? Quarter to 9, 9 o'clock in the morning. The observation deck at the top of the towers and the roof that people can go on, the tourists. I know that because it was so early in the morning, they weren't open yet, thank God. Otherwise, you would have had tourists on the roof during all of this.
Every time a floor hit another floor, it was like a loud boom, like a train that was off its tracks and was hitting the railroad ties. And it was getting closer and closer. Just kept waiting. Just kept waiting for that big beam or that big piece of concrete to come. And for us, it didn't come.
And I'm up here, you know, to have no idea what I look like. I've never done them, and you're great too, kiddo. You can all you want, it won't help.
All the furnishings and the fixtures inside the building, none of that existed after the collapse.
Mm-hmm.
There were no desks, there were no phones, no computers, no copy machines, no chairs, nothing. That had all been pulverized by the tremendous amount of energy that was created by this collapse. And it was just pulverized into this dust.
And without getting too morbid, I think that's also what happened with the bodies as well. All the people still in there.
And somebody got on the radio and said, "Where's the North Tower?" Like I looked at my radio, I said, "Where's the North Tower?" I said, "Man, we're in trouble if they don't know where the North Tower is."
The ash and the fire trucks twisted up like toys. I went back towards the building where there was a fireman, and I walked up to the fellow and I said, you know, hey, there's a body over here. He looked at me with the look that I sensed, hey, why is he looking at me like I have two heads, like I'm crazy? Why is he giving me this look?
Is there bodies everywhere? Is that what he means?
And he said, just go on. And I realized there were actually bodies and people scattered all over the place.
Cones of body. Cones of body. Cones of bodies.
What's he saying now? Bones of bodies.
Cones of bodies. Cones of body. Cones of body. Cones of bodies.
Bones or bodies, I think he's saying. God, look how quiet it is now, eerily quiet.
People died in the Twin Towers that morning, including Melanie DeVere, Christine Olender, and more than 150 delegates and staff at Windows on the World. Elaine Gentle and 95 of her colleagues at Fiduciary Trust, including Ed Emery.
BRIT didn't make it.
And 84 workers and officials at the Port Authority who looked after the building.
Are you gonna be okay?
In the North Tower, Frank De Martini and Pablo Ortiz both lost their lives. They were still helping people to escape when the building collapsed.
Well, I mean, I think for me, there still is this burning, hole that you don't really know what happened. And of course, I would like to know more about, what was happening, and I know he'd love to tell it.
He would be so sad to see them fall, and saving as many people as he did, that it was somehow fitting that he went up into the air with the buildings.
Along with Mac Hanna, who escaped the building helping evacuees, Pablo and Frank saved the lives of over 50 people. Amongst them were Rick Bryan and the 22 people trapped on the 89th floor, including receptionist Diane DeFontes.
Yes, sir, you have a 2:30 followed by a 4:15.
And I know that his absence is a terrible thing. But here is a man that you can be proud of because he saved other people's lives.
Stanley Premnath and Brian Clark both survived. 61 people from Brian's company, Eurobrokers, lost their lives, as did 23 from Stanley's company, Fuji Bank. Victor Wald and Harry Ramos were both killed in the collapse of the North Tower.
We got a picture of Harry Ramos. It was a brilliant picture. It was a very sharp picture with a Rolex watch. And I said to my children, well, Victor didn't die by himself. An angel came and
should have left him.
And Harry
I know it sounds horrible, but I mean...
Harry was the only person from his company, May Davis, who did not survive.
And Hung, he helped to the fullest, and then he made a decision he had to leave. And I think that was a better decision to make because he thought that, he had to think of himself at some point.
And his loved
ones. He tried
ones.
to help a man, but if Victor couldn't help himself at a point, he analyzed the situation, he made the decision he had to go. He probably feels bad about it, but he made the correct decision.
Harry.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Harry, if I could talk to you again, I'd like to say we should have left together.
Yeah.
6 people trapped in elevator 41 all escaped, including Al Smith and Jan Demsha.
Can't imagine. I'm short and he's tall. It occurs the danger.
Every day it's with me. It's in my head.
I hear Battalion 1-8 to ladder 6, Battalion 1-8 to ladder 6. Is that you on the radio? I said, yeah, it's me. Rescue 3 to ladder 6, Captain Jay Jonas. This is Cliff. I'm coming for you, brother. I'm coming for you. And that was the first, it choked me up. It's the first time in my career where I had become the person in need of rescue instead of the person coming to do the rescue.
I'm gonna get you, brother.
It would be almost 5 hours before Jay Jonas and the 13 people trapped with him would finally find their way to freedom. They owed their lives to an extraordinary piece of luck.
5 hours is pretty good.
Once the collapse reached our area, it kind of ran out of energy because the pile itself was about 6 to 7 stories tall, the debris pile. And we were in that 2-story cocoon. If you were lower than that, the debris settled there and you didn't make it. If you were above that, you were part of the kinetic energy of the collapse and you didn't make it. So you really had to be where we were.
So because he stopped for that woman, he survived.
Police emergency service unit. They're trying basically now to reestablish some kind of a safe perimeter. And many of the emergency workers basically just happy to be alive. Certainly that picture tells it all. Many of them just happy to be alive at this point, having survived what is An extraordinary event, the collapse of 2 towers.
343 firemen and 60 police officers were killed in the collapse of the Twin Towers.
340. Oh shit, there she
I
is.
did make the right decisions that day, but I didn't know they were the right decisions at the time. Running into Josephine Harris, making this decision to stop and save her, we inadvertently saved ourselves.
I'm gonna have to look it up because I want to know how many people are in the tower normally.
Don't forget it, because this can happen again.
Like, what is the capacity of the
And I
tower?
believe that they are going to try again. It won't be tomorrow, it won't be next year, but they're coming back.
They did.
5 years since 9/11, as the bombings in London and Madrid have shown, Al-Qaeda's commitment to simultaneous attacks has not diminished.
If I have a nightmare, it is about the combination of a terrorist and a nuclear device. My worry is that we could be saying the same thing. Why didn't we do this and why didn't we do that? So there will be another attack, and if we're not prepared, God help us.
Well, these are the pants that I was wearing on that day. And I made it my project. I guess it kept me a little from really going completely out of my mind. I made it my project to wash them by hand, and every day I would wash them a little more and hang them up to dry, and then I'd see some more dirt, and I'd put more soap, and then I'd scrub the legs because I just had to get them clean. It was like washing away. It may sound silly, but washing away the dirt and evil and the bad and just getting it out, and I did. And unfortunately they don't fit anymore, but they're clean.
Damn. Like, that little story at the end there kind of really emphasizes how much it's messed with people's minds. It never gets any easier, this story. All of this could have been avoided really with more strict security in airplanes. I mean, I know they've done that now since this, but just have a locked door between the pilots and the passengers. It seems so obvious now, but there should be no way at all in a £250,000 machine flying at 600 miles an hour. There'd be no way for an ordinary person off the street to get anywhere close to the controls. I don't know. I'm gonna look up really quickly on how many people actually were in the tower at any one point. I mean, even on that morning, for example. Alright, so it says here, for example, the North Tower on any one day would have around 35,000 people in it. There's a lot of people. That's like 2 arenas at least full of people. There is one other documentary that I've been meaning to have a look at. I've seen it before, but it was years and years ago, so I don't really remember it, but I found it very interesting. It's not a documentary about the events of 9/11. It's just a documentary on the workings of the Trade Center, how, you know, the air conditioning systems, the way everything, the transport, just the day-by-day goings on before obviously everything happened. I mean, I've got it here. I'll give you a little preview. The interesting thing is that this documentary was actually filmed in, I think it's January or February 2001. That's the year that everything happened. So literally months before towers come down, this was filmed. And you can actually see here, look, recorded the 27th of January 01. And it's a documentary, and it's an interview with all the people that work in the towers, what they do, blah blah blah. And the eerie part of this documentary as well is that some of the people they introduce, so for example this person here, it will show you the time it was recorded, and it'll also say missing since 9/11. This is really, really like eerie, and it also shows you some sort of commercials at the time as well. So this one is just gives you goosebumps. You've probably seen this before as well. Let me just get it here. Look at this. I can't remember what the advert's for, but it's showing somebody pole vaulting over the towers, and it's showing them falling. Just makes it. Oof. But anyway, that is the 9/11 documentary I wanted to watch with you. I hope you enjoyed it. There's so many documentaries and TV shows, movies, books. I could go on forever watching all of these, and I probably could. I might do this one here about how the Trade Center works, the ins and outs. I find it fascinating, so you might too. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you next time.